Good evening, everybody. I'm in a different location, so sorry if it looks a little different, but I'm so excited to be here tonight for another fishing report. We're going to Southwest Florida with Kate Joel, Jupiter Kayak Fishing, our boy E. Let's bring him in. There you go. Hey! Oh, what are you doing? Sorry, folks. Let's see if we can get you guys in. I'm gonna all right. Everything good? Can you hear me okay?
I hear a lot of static on your side, but I can hear you.
No. Grant, do you hear static on my end too?
Yes.
Okay. What I'm going to do though, because I don't want to hold up the fishing report.
You can drop out and come back in.
Yeah.
I'll talk to E for a second.
Thank you.
What's up, Crazy Horse?
Nothing much, man. Doesn't like my new white face with a little dot in the middle.
I like your emoji.
And when I talk, it expands. It's crazy.
Hey, this is much better. I think you should do them all like this.
Ouch.
How you doing?
You know what? Just
there
for that,
it
I
is.
put my face in here. Hang on, I think
let's do a check here.
Much better.
Is it? Okay, great. Awesome.
Yes.
Thank you very much. Sorry about that, folks. Thanks for hanging on as we deal with technical difficulties. But it's so nice to see you, E. How's it going?
It's good. Nice to see you too. How you been?
I'm good. I'm good. I'm loving this. It was like 75 degrees where I'm at. I felt like I was in Southwest Florida.
It hasn't been that warm every day here though lately.
Really?
Yeah. So the mornings have been in the 40s, and then around 10 and 11 o'clock, it heats up to like 70 to 80 degrees now. It's been doing that for the last like 3 to 4 days now.
Okay. Well, I'm sure that's impacted your fishing. So let's go into the 2-minute bite where we talk about what's biting, what are you using, and where are you finding it. And then we'll get deeper into the fishing report and we'll talk about tonight's prize. It's from my special tackle box. So this is mine I'm giving to the audience, whoever wins question of the evening tonight. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but let's go into the 2-minute bite.
All right. You know, the biggest thing that we've been catching is trout, and they've been getting really big right now. I caught my PB trout last, I think it was either 2 weeks ago or a week ago. Oh, the static's back.
Static is back. Let me see.
Is it on my end?
Yeah.
Okay, I'm going to drop out. So, Grant, do you mind taking over because I don't want to hold up the fishing report?
Yeah. What was the prize? That?
Oh, all right.
Sweet. Okay.
Hi, Lady C.
All right. I'm technical difficulty Tommy tonight.
Overtime. You got overtime now.
Putting in overtime. That's all good. But it looks like yeah, everything will be fine for next time. It looks like Lady C provided an awesome prize. You just started the 2-minute bite, so go ahead.
So trout, you know, I sent you that picture that was the front picture for the channel tonight, and it was my biggest trout ever, 24-inch trout, and he was hanging out where I was targeting reds, you know, and I thought he was a red for about 30 seconds. So, and then 2-3 days later, I got another one over 24 as well. So wow. These things are, yeah, I know, two in 1 week, which is rare for me. And then today I got into a 22-incher today as well. So the trout are really big right now, and they're all over the oyster beds. That's where I've been finding them. They're all over the oyster beds. This cold weather, you know, slowed the bite down for the reds for me, and the trout have just really taken over. When it gets cold, the trout bite really gets better down here, at least.
Yeah, it seems like for large parts of the season, you guys get trout all year long, but for large parts of the season, they're, you know, 14 to 16 inches, right?
Correct. Yeah, they get small. We found a couple schools literally today and yesterday that were, you know, anywhere between 13 to 17-inch trout, where you can catch a few of them for, you know, like maybe 15 minutes in a good school. But, you know, there's some monsters out there right now too, and they're hanging out. You know, I've caught 2 of them hanging out with the school of reds. I was talking to you about that, and they were literally moving with the reds. I was like, wow.
Yeah. I learned a couple of years ago that a speckled trout is actually a drum.
Okay, that makes sense.
So, you know, I guess that's sort of why they hang together. I will tell you, and I talked to Chris Bush, who does the speckled trout, the Speckled Truth podcast. He was on the show a couple of months ago, guys.
I remember I watched that one.
Yeah, he's a really knowledgeable guy and a really passionate fisherman. But we both agreed that when a speckled trout hits like 23, 24 inches, something happens in its body and its brain where it just turns into a bull. I mean, they're not really known for being hard fighting fish when they're in the teens. But when they hit 23 inches, they just, you know, switch over into beast mode. It feels like
they'll pull drag on my. I was surprised. I seriously thought it was a redfish, and even when I saw the color, where I saw this, you know, this, I could tell it was kind. I was like, is that like a mixed redfish? What's going on here? Did I find some rare fish?
Yeah, a multiracial speckled trout.
And I'll show you what I've been using the most is this paddle tail right here, which is chicken on the chain saltwater. I believe this is their 4-inch version, and this thing has been deadly with trout and with the other ones that we've been catching a lot, which is snook. So we've been getting into some really good snook bites lately as well too. They've pushed back now a little bit, pretty much, and the first mangrove line or the second mangrove line out of the main channels where I've been finding most of the snook over here, at least. So once you get away from the channel and some mangroves and some little cuts, they're everywhere back there. And I've caught size 12 to, you know, 28 was the biggest lately, at least this month.
Nice.
Yes.
Nice. I noticed your headgear there.
Oh yeah, that I got this from you guys. I'm not sure who was the one that.
Oh, that was Walleye Pete that sent it. I was about to ask you. I was like, did you put a fish finder on your?
No.
You know what? I love that you don't have a fish finder on your kayak. Like, and honestly, having fished in your region a good bit, I don't know why you would.
Right. I mean, the only times where so we've had a kayak that used to have one. We got rid of that kayak though. But I did have one that had a fish finder, or a depth finder, pretty much is all I used it for. And it's when you go to new areas, it makes it a little easier to find holes. It makes it a little easier to find, you know, structure that you can't normally see, or unless you go on a real negative low tide day where you can, you know, you can scout the area, which is ideally what I like to do. You know, when I go to the areas when it's high tide, I don't even see high tide. I'm looking at remembering the structure that's under there, you know?
And that's what I'll say is I fished with you now, I think on at least two separate days. And you knew that area like the back of your hand. You knew where the holes were. You knew where the structure were. And all of that came from not fishing with a fish finder. It just came from your memory.
Correct.
So we got a couple of questions coming in here. One of them is kind of like a question/request coming from Lady C. And she says she'd like to hear about Steve's special Jupiter kayak fishing adventure that you had recently?
Oh, so that's probably today's. I literally got off the water today with Steve, and he caught his first redfish today. It was a 21-inch redfish, and then he also ended up with a slam. So he got a snook, a trout, and a redfish all in one day today. So, yeah, thank you.
Congrats, Steve.
Yep, he was really excited, and we harvested the redfish, and we took 2 trout for him to enjoy as well. So he was a happy customer, and that guy is he books with us monthly. He's a very big supporter of the channel, and we thank him and the business a lot.
And Lady C's chiming in. It looks like he's overcoming cancer. So
correct.
Steve,
yes.
If you're watching, congratulations, brother, and we're all here for you and cheering you on in your fight. That's amazing stuff. Carl Ward is asking, do you use fluorocarbon leader?
I do. Yes, I have exactly what I use right here.
Nice.
So I usually, the lightest I have 15 to about 50 pound, and I don't use 50 or 40 unless I'm going for bigger snook or tarpon, big tarpon. But usually that 30 pound all day is one of the safest lines to use down here for me, because it'll protect you from those snook. When they get, when you get one of those, it's hit or miss if you phrase that line. You got to do a lot of things correct.
Yeah, you got to, I mean, pretty much with the type of fish you guys have down there, you got to check your leader after just about every fish, because a speckled trout can fray your line. A redfish certainly can. A snook definitely will. The list goes on and on. You guys got a lot of toothy critters down there.
We do, absolutely.
Let's see. Mike Griffiths asks, see, this is what I love to see. I want to see people from our area going down to his area. And the last thing you got to do, Mike, is you got to book a trip with me with Jupiter Kayak Fishing of Cape Coral. But Mike says, I'll be down in your area second week of April. What type of areas should I target with water warming up in the next few weeks? First of all, you should be fishing in Matlacha Pass with my boy E right here. So E, go ahead and give us your contact information so we can make sure he gets in touch with you.
The best way to get a contact with us is our phone number, 941-999-1365. Our social media, especially our Facebook, has links to all our other stuff. We have a YouTube channel as well, Instagram, and Twitter. So, but if you give us a call, text us, we'll get back to you within 24 hours with information and everything you need to know about what it takes to come fishing with us.
But we'll still answer his question. What type of areas should he target with water warming up the next few weeks? And notice he said, what type of area? He didn't ask for spots.
I mean, it just depends if they're fishing from shore, if they're fishing from a boat or from a kayak, different things I would tell them right now. But I'm going to assume kayak because that's my business. And, in April, I am hoping to have seen a tarpon by then. I still have not seen one, and that's what I'm waiting to see when they come back. Usually, this time last year, I already ran into a few of them, but this cold weather is really keeping them away right now, I believe. So once it warms up consistently, I think is when we'll start seeing the tarpon. But right now, I would say the snook and redfish around that time really start going off. The redfish start chewing up. We've caught a few during this month. I'd say we've caught a dozen in a month, so it's not great, but we've caught a few of them. And today I was going to bring up, it's the first time Steve, same guy, he brought this little thing. It's called like a bug or something. I don't know if you ever seen these.
Oh, it looks like a Playboy bunny lure.
I saw him snatch a red with this thing after we had shrimp on them. We had shrimp on the popping cork. We had shrimp on the bottom. I was using my paddle tail, and this redfish we could see him. He wouldn't touch it. As soon as he threw that out with a little Procure on it, snagged him right away. And then he caught a trout with that too.
I wanted to add, I mean, it seems like right around this time of year, maybe a little later, you should start to see tarpon in your area, because Lady C and I were down there. We would have been, let's see, it would have been a little later than now. It would have been probably in early April last year. And back in those canals, back around Matlacha, tarpon were rolling.
Right.
Couldn't get them to bite, but tarpon were rolling.
But they're not even rolling in those canals right now either. I have a few friends of mine that live on the canals, and they tell me as soon as they start seeing them roll back there, you know, they let me know. And no one has let me know. You know, everyone I ask at the bait shop, other captains around here, they're really not seeing them right now. No one's seen them yet, you know. But everybody's waiting for them.
Yeah, your poor friends that live on those canals and around there.
Oh no, it's imagine waking up every morning to watch tarpon rolling in your back. I gotta walk a little bit.
Imagine waking up every morning and going and throwing top water on rolling tarpons.
That'd be nice. That'd be nice.
Yeah. Tyler Jacobson asks, he says, tuning in late, do you find there to be a difference in optimal temps for specks versus redfish?
Got him.
Got him. Does temp or depth impact when you throw top water versus jigs for both of them? Somebody's bringing their A-game questions tonight.
Man, that's a tough. I got to answer like 3 questions there. Can you keep
that? There
you go.
Yeah.
So, well, I've noticed that when these cold temperatures happen out of nowhere, the speckled trout definitely get fired up. You know, as soon as I see temperature, like outside temperatures, anywhere below 50, you know, below 60 for here, I start looking for more speckled trout. And the colder it gets, the more, you know, unless we're looking for sheep's head, and that's a whole nother story, another fish talk there. And then the redfish, for me at least, they get lockjawed when it's cold. For me, they slow down, they stop chewing. I mean, I've been around them the last 2 weeks when it's been cold, trying to sight cast them, and they will not do it. Look at it. They won't, even if it's live shrimp, they just don't want to do anything.
That was going to be my question. If you threw something live at them, if that would change the game.
I haven't tried any like cut bait because I usually don't carry it. But, you know, that's the other option you could try, because sometimes they like cut bait more than anything, you know, just a piece of chunk bait, you know, and free line it down to the bottom if you can, if the current's not too bad.
Do you use cut mullet?
I usually get cut ladyfish because I catch a lot of those, you know, as I'm trolling, or sometimes they're around the trout as well. They're easy to catch and they're pretty good cut bait, you know, if you use it right away.
Yeah, it feels like I haven't used one for bait, but they feel like the meat is pretty soft.
Correct.
Easy to get on the hook, easy to cut up, yeah.
And then so top water versus jigs. Okay, so like I don't really decide based on temperature what I use. I use more of like what the environment's doing, or if I see a lot of mullet that are moving and they're on the surface, then I think I should throw a top water to match what's going around me. If I see the mullet are underwater and they're not coming out as much, then I'll usually stay underwater as well. You know, if I'm around an oyster bed and there's some wind and there's a lot of waves forming, I will throw a top water on there too. But I mean, I'll just try it for like maybe 5 casts, and if I don't get a hit, I'll switch to something else. And if that works, then that's what's working. You know, I don't get stuck on I want to do top water only. You know, I want to catch fish whichever way is working at that moment.
I hear you on that, especially when you have customers, right?
Especially when you have customers.
We're not playing experiment games here.
No.
Carl Ward asks, how do you attach your leader to main line?
Oh, so I use the Alberto knot. That's the one I use. I brought my rod, but I don't think you'll be able to see that knot. There's probably no way.
On TFC Plus, I think they can find a video of you doing the Alberto knot. Yeah.
It's tough.
Carl, I think I know there's a video, an instructional video from E on the loop knot. I'm not sure if he did the Alberta knot on that same one. You don't think
I don't believe I did yet.
Well, you could, and you should.
I could.
Good. Carl asked another question. He says, "Do you use bottom sweeper style jigs for sheep's head?"
I don't, and the only reason is because I usually have a jig head on, and I like just to keep it simple. I'll just throw it on the jig head and start using the jig head with the shrimp on there. You know, again, I'm in the kayak, so I'm not trying to bring more equipment. You know, you start needing this for that. So I try to use the jig head as most as I can for every type of fishing, and it's pretty effective. You know,
Really?
pompano, you know, you name it, I've caught it with a jig head and a shrimp on it.
Yeah, yeah. You know, kayak fishing, I always found. I still think I caught more fish when I was a kayak fisherman than when I was a boat fisherman.
I have 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Interesting, because you know you have so much less water at your disposal, but you do more research the night before because you know that. You know, you really dissect water. You don't give up on things as much. I don't know, guys. If you're a boat fisherman out there and you've ever thought about trying kayak fishing, A, do it, and B, you know, set your mind right, because it's totally different. You know, you can't get frustrated and say, "I wish I could go 40 miles east," because you can't. You do your homework beforehand. But I caught more fish that way.
Yeah. You analyze the waters, every bit of water more. You know, you find fish where most people are just driving by that place. I see that all the time.
And you stop and you pay attention to more things.
Right.
You know, instead of thinking, "Okay, what's my next move? I wonder if they're biting down on Cape Coral."
Right.
You know, you look at that mangrove, you know, section in front of you, and you're like, well, they could be coming here, coming off the point. You're very much more focused in your moment. I think that's the biggest thing for me. You're focused on where you are. You're in the moment more than you would be on a boat, and you're thinking about, what's the next area that we could be at. Lady C's just chiming in saying she loves kayak fishing. Tyler made an interesting comment. He said, "It's interesting how we in Maryland are looking forward to warm days in water, and you in Florida are keying in on the cold days, getting specs fired up." Yeah, yeah. I mean, a cool day in the summer in Florida. Now, granted, a cool day for you guys is like low 80s, but that'll fire a bite up, right?
Yeah. Yep. Absolutely. Yeah. I forgot to mention, I was up in Jacksonville, Florida, also fishing last weekend for the Florida Redfish Series.
Yeah, how'd that go?
I mean, I didn't win or place, because you're supposed to catch 2 redfish. I caught 4, but only 1 was slot. So, but I'm going next month. There's another one in Crystal River, Florida. I don't know if you ever been there. That's a nice fishery as well, and I have some experience fishing there, so I feel a little more confident going down there. So we'll see how it goes. Next fishing report, I'll have some feedback on that as well. So hopefully I have some improvement.
You ever decide whether or not you're going to go up to the Ocean City tournament?
I'm waiting to see what you guys are going to do.
Ready, dude.
Do we got a nice place on the water or something like that, or
maybe not stuff I can say live, but
all you got to do is let me know.
All right, sounds good. Sounds good.
Yep.
We are right about at the end of our show. We had some good questions tonight. In the winner of the question of the night, wins 2 packs of old school. No, sorry, it's not old school base. No,
yeah, it's Lady C's.
Yeah, my bad.
Yeah, she's back.
It's Lady C's pack.
There we go.
Yeah, it sounds like your sound is better. Do you want to? Yeah, your sound is better now. Yeah, your sound is better.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah.
I'll have to do sound check with you more, Grant.
Okay.
Just make sure I'm good. Yeah. So it's out of my stash. It's for shallow water. It's a beginner pack, but it comes with everything you need. I mean, I've used everything in here before, so definitely gotten on fish on kayak with this bundle that I have. And Grant mentioned about, less water on a kayak. I know that's not true for you where you are. I have kayak fish Smith Mountain Lake, and I can tell you that lake's as big as any bay, if you're familiar with Smith Mountain Lake of Virginia. But yeah, so who do you choose for question of the evening?
It was Tyler. He had like a 3-question. I forgot. Yep. That's the one.
Well, congratulations, Tyler. Please reach out to us at admin@thefishingchannel.net so we can get your prize to you. Thank you so much, E. I'm sorry we weren't able to talk, but I was with you here in spirit in the background.
Okay. Last time it was my camera that broke. Remember, like my camera stopped working. It's always something.
Always something. So thanks for everyone's question. Thanks for tuning in. Thank you so much, E. As always appreciate what you do. And check him out next month, everybody. But we have our fishing reports next week as well. So make sure you tune in. And I hope everyone has an amazing rest of your week. It's going to be warmer where we are. So get out fishing, everybody. I know I will. So as always, fish on, everybody.
Fish
Bye-bye.
On.